Finding a project car is hard. You have to sort through all the garbage to find that special gem. But for Tony King, the search for a passion project ended with the reveal of a lifetime.
Hello everybody, I'm Christine Danchuk and I'm here today with Tony King from Moreno Valley. And when I heard his story about his 55 Bel Air, I thought it was just so neat. We have to share it with everybody. So Tony, how did you come across your 55?
I've silently been looking. I found this one on Craigslist, but always knew I couldn't afford one. But I always was snooping and looking, even though I couldn't afford one.
And so when you saw it or found it on Craigslist, did you know immediately it's what you wanted, or how did you find out that this is something you wanted to, you'd be interested in purchasing?
First off, I seen it, the picture, and it looked pretty cool, just the stance of it. And then to read that it had all the air suspension in it and the LS1 already, and the wheels and tires and everything, I thought it was a really good start.
So then why didn't you purchase it?
So I was out of town camping, and so that's when I emailed my son the link to Craigslist to look at it for me and see what his thoughts were on it. And my son said that he called the guy and was going to go the next morning and look at it. And so naturally I'm sitting up there in camp fidgeting, waiting for the phone call, and he never did call me. And so I call him, and then he tells me, nah, he said the car wasn't that good, and the guy's story was changing and everything, and so he said I didn't buy it.
So you were pretty bummed because it was such a good deal in the beginning, and then you realized,
yeah, and it
it
had all the stuff that I was wanting to ultimately buy and have and whatnot. So I spent the whole month up there and had a great time, but my mind was always on that car, you know. And then so we come home, and normally our routine, because I do all the driving, when we pull in the driveway, my wife gets out and goes and opens the door and goes on in. And that day I kind of noticed that she was fidgeting around doing something else, and I really didn't put two and two together as why. And I went and hit the garage door button, and this was sitting in there with all three of my sons and my stepson videoing me. Oh gosh.
I just asked you today if you like surprises.
Wow. I was totally in shock. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Best surprise ever.
Oh gosh. And it was a surprise. I didn't have one clue that so the deal is, my three sons and my stepson worked on it all through the 5 weeks, getting it ready, because my son Tim mostly had heard me talk so many times that no matter what I bought, I wanted to drive it home. I didn't want a bucket of bolts or a bunch of parts, and I wanted to at least be able to drive it home. And so he knew that I would want to drive it.
How important that was to you. So it sounds like there's two sides to this story. Let's hear what Tim has to say.
Okay.
I'm here with Tim, Tony's son, and tell us about how you felt when you first saw his face when he opened the garage and he saw the car.
It was a really rewarding experience. So, you know, I always wanted to give him a 55. I was finally able to do that. But two, I messed with him for a whole month while he was gone, and I was working on this car, you know, late nights and everything. And so it was great to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, where that was what we did it for, was to get his reaction. So it was neat to see.
And how did it feel lying to your own dad?
Didn't bother me at all, because it was for me, it was fun to do, because I knew it was eating at him, not that he thought he didn't get this car, and it was sitting there in my garage while I was working on it. So for me, it was just a fun time.
So do you have any trips planned together?
Yeah, we're actually talking about driving all the way out to Bowling Green, Kentucky for the Tri-5 Nationals, which is about a 2,100 mile trip one way. That's in August, so we're talking about going out there for that show.
What things do you need to do to get this car prepared to go on such a long journey?
For sure, air conditioning. Going across the desert middle of August, it'll be a little brutal without it, and some sort of stereo.
Well, we hope to see you in Bowling Green, Kentucky for the Tri-5 Nationals. I hope you can make it out there. And thanks so much, you guys, for joining me today and telling me about this really cool story about this car. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.